Ironically, though not at all surprisingly, Donald Trump is now lashing out at anyone who dares to suggest he didn't deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. It's honestly kind of funny because, let's be real, Donald, you didn't. You don't even have to look at his foreign policy record to see that. His domestic record says it all. His presidency began with him promoting and excusing political violence, even handing out over 1,000 pardons to people involved in violent acts, including insurrectionists. Since leaving office, Trump has only continued to spread division and chaos, behavior that couldn't be further from that of a so-called peacemaker. So it's no wonder the global community, including President Zelenskyy, doesn't view him as a symbol of peace. In fact, Zelenskyy couldn't resist poking fun at Trump's loss, which of course sent Trump into yet another meltdown. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, if you're enjoying this coverage, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps keep this work going. Now let's see exactly what Zelenskyy said that managed to set Trump off.
The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called me and said, I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it. A very nice thing to do. I didn't say then give it to me though. I think she might have. She was very nice, and I've been helping her along the way. They need a lot of help in Venezuela. It's a basic disaster. So, and you could also say it was given out for 24. And I was running for office in 24, all of the transactions that we did in terms of closing. But there are those that say we did so much that they should have done it. But I'm happy because I saved millions of lives. Many.
Has Donald Trump ever gone even a single day without making everything about himself? What we just witnessed was one of the most embarrassing performances imaginable. Straight out of the "my girlfriend goes to another school" playbook. Let's be honest, Donald. No one nominated you. No one's offering you the prize. And you're not getting it next year or any year after that. These days, Trump seems completely fixated on his so-called legacy, clearly aware of the same mental and physical decline the rest of us can see. And sorry, Donald, no amount of makeup, strange hand movements, or exaggerated speeches is going to hide it. A Nobel Peace Prize won't undo your failures, and it definitely won't give you the redemption you're chasing. Your record speaks for itself. From authorizing unauthorized strikes near Venezuela to floating reckless attacks on Iran, and things at home aren't much better either. Just listen to what Governor J.B. Pritzker had to say about it.
You just heard Vice President Vance. He didn't directly answer whether he agreed with President Trump that you've committed a crime, but what he did say was it seems pretty criminal to him, your behavior. What's your response?
Well, you just heard a tidal wave of lies from the Vice President of the United States. It's a bit shocking, and you heard over and over again him just making things up on national television with you. There's a reason why the judge here in federal court said that the administration lacks credibility, and why even the Nobel Prize Committee chair said that the administration lacks integrity. This administration, led by a 34-time convicted felon, is threatening to jail people that are their political opponents. They're making things up to go after people. We're seeing it day in and day out. And the fact that he's made a threat against me, I'm not afraid. I'm going to stand up for the people of my state. And we've got to all stand together, because there is truly unconstitutional actions that are coming out of this administration, coming at the states and the people of the United States. And all of us, Democrats and Republicans, need to speak out about it. One thing
Donald Trump hasn't brought peace. He's brought chaos, division, and cruelty. His administration was driven by people who carried out his assaults on vulnerable communities, not peacemakers. Just because Trump keeps bragging that he ended wars with countries he can barely identify doesn't suddenly make him deserving of a Nobel Prize he never earned. And let's be honest, The recent progress toward a ceasefire in the Middle East? Trump had nothing to do with it. He doesn't get to take credit for something he wasn't part of. What actually matters now is making sure that peace holds and that meaningful diplomacy continues, not Donald Trump's delusional victory lap. That's exactly why President Zelenskyy couldn't help but laugh at him in this clip.
I also want to ask about the Nobel Peace Prize. You have personally witnessed President Trump's commitment to brokering peace across the world. You've seen the kind of pressure that he applies to get it done. Sometimes you've been on the receiving end of that pressure. This year's Nobel Peace Prize went to Venezuela's opposition leader. What was your reaction to that? Do you think that President Trump should be nominated next year? Would you do it?
I think that we will be very happy to nominate President Trump next year Nobel Prize, if he will, because only him for today, only him can. So if he will pressure and stop Putin, if he will put Putin at the table of dialogue, negotiations, if President Trump will stop these killings, and I think that ceasefire, sometimes we understand that ceasefire is not, it's not really finishing the war, but between us, we understand that ceasefire, this is the biggest step to the final, to finish the war. But if he will do it, I hope so, and God bless that he can do it. Of course, in this case, we will nominate him, and we will be proud to congratulate him.
Wonderful.
No one seems to know how to get under Donald Trump's skin quite like President Zelenskyy. He's mastered the art of needling Trump, like when he jokingly suggested Trump might win a Nobel Peace Prize if he actually managed to end a war. It was a perfect, cutting moment that exposed Trump's obsession with praise and recognition. As Tim Miller from The Bulwark put it, maybe we should just be relieved that Trump's latest fixation is on awards and not on trying to buy Greenland again. Zelenskyy clearly understands Trump's ego and uses it to hold him accountable. But let's be real. Trump's claims about ending wars are total nonsense. The conflicts he swore he'd stop on day one are still ongoing, and his supposed foreign policy insights are surface level at best. His comment about Russia being a paper tiger, which he probably just repeated without understanding, perfectly shows how shallow his grasp of global affairs really is. And then came that Truth Social post after his meeting with Zelenskyy where he wrote, "I now understand the military and economic conditions on the ground in Ukraine." Really, Donald? Now you understand? After years of pretending you had all the answers, you're admitting you didn't even know the basics. It's no wonder aides had to use colorful graphics in his briefings just to keep him focused. It's embarrassing and frankly, dangerous. Meanwhile, as Trump obsesses over a peace prize he'll never get, he's still inciting division and political violence at home. The right loves to accuse others of being too harsh. But calling out Trump's authoritarian behavior and the hate spread by figures like Charlie Kirk isn't extremism. It's truth-telling. Sending extremist groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers to intimidate Americans isn't peace. It's exactly what Rachel Maddow has been warning about, and it's a reality we can't afford to ignore.
Turn it back around, actually. I'm interested to know your answer to this, Rev, because, I mean, you've seen government retribution in action in a lot of different ways over the course of your career. And I'm interested to hear what you say. I mean, I think that the most obvious answer is probably the real one, which is that they want to make it either illegal or terrifying to oppose him.
Right.
And so they're putting heads on pikes and putting those pikes up at the edge of the, at the gates to the city to say it's not possible to criticize, let alone oppose this president. If you do, look what we're going to do to you and your family and your career and your livelihood and your reputation. And I think that's all it is. And I think that they don't have anybody holding them back, and so they're going to do it as long as they can and as much as they can. What do you think?
I agree. I think they will do it as long as they can. until they realize that it backfires, and they're really creating martyrs. I think that they will end up making people like Tish James and others much more powerful and influential than they thought they were. Because every time I've seen them do this in the past, me growing up in the civil rights movement, they ended up making people more significant than they thought they were reducing. But it costs people to do it. It's not a walk through the garden for those that are targeted, and I've been there. It's something you have to be strong enough, and as Tish James said, fearless, but you have to know at the end of it is going to end up helping the cause that you stand for.
I was struck by the fact that I saw a headline about this. I haven't looked into it myself, but I have seen it reported that Tish James had never had a fundraising day in her life in public office like she did when Trump indicted her.
No, she's never been a great fundraiser. She's a great vote getter, a great leader. But that's what happens. He's going to end up being the best thing that happened to some people that fit with the wrong people.
It's going to be a unifying thing, too, because I think that even people who are soft supporters of Trump, who may like some things that he's doing and not others, it's so obvious that this is not the way the American rule of law is supposed to function. This is not the way the U.S. justice system is supposed to work. Anybody who sees all these U.S. attorneys getting fired and resigning and stepping out, having to bring in some insurance lawyer from the mid-level ranks of the White House who've never prosecuted a case before to learn on the job about how to bring an indictment. I mean, I think any adult who understands about how the American rule of law works knows that this is wrong. And I think that this will cost him soft support, even if his fanatical supporters would follow him into hell.
And no one's a better example than Martin Luther King. Dr. King was indicted for income tax, accused of stealing money from his organization. He ends up with a national holiday, and we couldn't name any of those prosecutors that were used in history.
I want to close with one final thought about President Zelenskyy, because what he did here was nothing short of brilliant. The way he handled Trump was strategic and sharp, perfectly exposing Trump's ego for what it is. But there's another story making waves right now. Melania Trump is being credited with what some are calling a diplomatic win involving Vladimir Putin. Reports say she helped secure the return of 8 children who were being held in Russia, reuniting them with their families, 5 of whom had previously been separated at the border. Now, of course, it's wonderful that those kids are finally home. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Maybe the best way to avoid having to rescue separated families is to stop separating them in the first place. That's the real takeaway here. And it's something we'll keep emphasizing on this channel. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a blue heart in the comments. Until next time, stay informed, stay strong, and I will see you soon.